The Toronto Raptors have officially hit rock bottom, and I have been reluctant all season to make this call, but it is now time to hit the panic button. Let's get into it. Welcome Raptors fans to Amateur Hour Sports. This is the channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors. We do a ton of videos, we do a ton of live stream watch songs like the one we did unfortunately last night for the game against the Houston Rockets, but we will continue to push on with this content through the Raptors' struggle. So if you like what you see from today's video and you want more of myself talking about the Raptors in content just like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Show your support to the channel as we look to move on to 3,000 subscribers. The road to 3,000. We just hit 2.3K and we are moving up. But today, of course, we are talking a little bit about the game yesterday, plus what the future looks like for this Toronto Raptors franchise. And again, I have been reluctant to make this call all season. I have just been pushing it away, keeping it out of my thoughts, but there was no choice at this point. The Raptors are in panic mode. They have lost 9 games in a row, and they just lost to the worst team in the NBA, the Houston Rockets. The Rockets came into the game last night having lost 20 games in a row, and they also did not have Victor Oladipo, one of their star players, available to play in the game. And the more you look into this game, the worse it becomes, because the Rockets, yes, they had lost 20 games in a row leading up to that game against the Raptors. One of the longest losing streaks of all time. In fact, the 9th longest losing streak in NBA history. Not only did they lose 20 games in a row, but in 15 of those 20 games, the Rockets lost by 10 or more points. So even with the Raptors, the struggles they have endured, all of the issues, the health and safety protocols, playing every game away from home, with all of this in mind, everything in mind here, they had a fully healthy team. And even though they had lost 8 in a row, they were by leaps and bounds the more talented team going into the game yesterday. But somehow they find a way to lose by 18 points. Not even a close game. Not even a close game. Not even a narrow loss. Not even a couple shots from out. Not even a bad referee performance. Free throw splits were pretty even. Rebounding was pretty even. The turnover battle was pretty even. The Raptors just quite simply got outplayed by the worst team in the NBA, which makes you wonder if maybe there's another team who's actually the worst team in the NBA at this current point, because the Rockets won by 18 points, so the Raptors only a couple of days left until the NBA trade deadline, and you can no longer make trades. And the Raptors are in dire need, absolutely dire need of a trade to happen now. A trade needs to happen right now, and nothing has happened yet. There are a ton of rumors, and apparently Adrian Wojnarowski, the Woj, has said that there are trades coming on Wednesday and on Thursday, but it makes me nervous that we have not seen anything yet. The Raptors 1,000,000% need to make a trade happen. At this point in the season, the Raptors are 17-26. They've lost 9 games in a row. They are, a little bit out of a playoff picture. They are a little bit out of the lowest seed in the NBA. So it's a very weird position, because they're right in the middle of, okay, maybe we can still make the playoffs, and okay, maybe we should just tank. And I'm honestly not ready to just concede, obliterate the team, and just completely tank. But I am now going to say the Raptors 100% need to trade Kyle Lowry. Look at this team. Look at the cap space that we lack. Look at what our offseason could look like if we do not make a trade here. Kyle Lowry needs to get paid at the end of the season. He is going to go to the team that gets him paid. Norman Powell also needs to get paid at the end of the season. He is going to go to the team that gets him paid. You 100% cannot re-sign both of these players if you are the Toronto Raptors. So if you keep both past the deadline, you are going to have to forfeit one of them for absolutely nothing. And the championship team of 2019 has already lost 4 key players from it for nothing in return. Kawhi Leonard walked away for free. Danny Green walked away for free. Serge Ibaka walked away for free. Marc Gasol walked away for free. And I am scared that we are about to see the 5th and maybe even the 6th player from that championship roster walk away for nothing. The front office clearly did not do a good job leading into the season to set the team up for success. They didn't get us the big we needed to be a proper competitor in the Eastern Conference. They didn't give us the depth we needed to be a proper competitor in the Eastern Conference. And I get all the things going on with this team. I get that every game is played away from home, that our home games are played in Tampa, where the fans cheer more for the other team than they do for the Toronto Raptors. I get that. I get that players have been out with health and safety protocols. There was a 5-game run where we didn't have 3 of our starters and 2 of our bench pieces. I understand all that, but even still, with all of that going on, this Raptors team had way too much talent to go down like that last night, to go down in 9 straight games. There is too much talent on this roster. They have so many tools that equips them for success. Pascal Siakam was all NBA second team last year, and since the 2-8 start has been great, averaging over 20 points per game. He's starting to get his 3-point ball back. He's great at slashing to the rim. He's a very good and versatile defender. We have him. We have Fred VanVleet, a guard who is turning into a great playmaker, who can average 18 to 19 points per game. Looks like he should be on the all-defense first team. We have that guy as well. Kyle Lowry, a serial winner, one of the best at taking charge in the league, one of the best at getting himself his buckets, one of the best at being a playmaker. He's just a serial winner. OG Anunoby, the most versatile defender in the NBA statistically, one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. Chris Boucher on pace to make a case for the MIP and the Sixth Man of the Year. There is enough talent on this team to find the success in the current NBA, even with everything going on, and they are currently not finding it, and there is just a complete lack of desire, lack of heart, lack of energy in this team, and that's something you commonly associate with the Raptors and why they have been so successful over the last decade or so, because even though they may not have the most talent all the time, they have the most work ethic. They have the most desire, the most heart to go out and will themselves to a victory, even when it seems like the odds are stacked against them. That belief, that hope that they can achieve greater things than people predict them to has completely gone out. And yesterday was a complete testament to the change in narrative for this Toronto Raptors team. But again, this is rock bottom. This is the darkest days have been for the Raptors in quite some time, losing to a Houston Rockets team who had lost 20 games in a row. But what we can look forward to is that this is the lowest it can go. This is the absolute basement. So it's only up from here. The Raptors can only look forward to brighter pastures than this because it simply cannot get any worse than this. But 100% a trade needs to happen for this team to be successful in the future, because if we go through a trade deadline without having made a trade, we are going to struggle for the rest of the season because we don't have a suitable big to play as our 5-man. We don't have a sure rebounder, a guy who can grab boards and finish on the other end, play solid defensive paint. We don't have that. We don't have that, and we're going to struggle if we do not acquire that before the deadline. There have been rumored to go after Richaun Holmes, and Richaun Holmes is a fantastic player for the Raptors to acquire. Over 13 points per game, over 8 rebounds per game, over 60% shooting from the field, a good free throw percentage. Richaun Holmes on $5 million this year would be a great acquisition for this team. But it's beyond just getting the big at this point, because if we go through this deadline without trading Lowry or Powell, we can only pay one of them at the end of the season, and it's possible that we lose both of them at the end of the season. So a lot of teams really, really interested in Kyle Lowry right now. A lot of teams interested in Norman Powell. I personally would keep Norman Powell and pay him at the end of the season and let Kyle Lowry go before the trade deadline. Trade him to the 76ers for, let's say, Mike Scott, Danny Green, Tyrese Maxey, and Matisse Thybulle. That's a great trade for the Raptors. Or the Heat, who really want him, get a package around Tyler Hero. Help the franchise for the future. Don't just leave us hanging out to dry here without having made this trade, because the franchise are going to be in a dire situation if they do not make this trade. There are pieces here. There is the core in place. There is the personnel in place who are locked in for the future with this franchise, who can fix this for next season when we're actually playing, hopefully, at home in front of the best crowd in the NBA at the Scotiabank Arena, when we don't have to play in Tampa all the time, when the health and safety protocols won't keep 3 starters out for 5 straight games. The team can be successful again next year. OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Fred VanVleet is a very exciting and generally young core that we can build around for the future and have success with. Again, OG Anunoby, one of the best defenders in the NBA. Fred VanVleet is playing like all defense first team right now in the guard position, plus developing his playmaking game. Siakam is finding his feet. He is getting better at finishing at the rim like he was last season, refining that three-point game, and is also quite a good defender. That personnel, those three players are good enough to build around and be successful with the right pieces. I wouldn't mind adding Norman Powell to that mix as well at the end of the season by re-signing him. So I think that this also makes sense with those three plus Norman Powell. Then you look at the personnel. Nick Nurse is locked in. He was coach of the year last year. He's usually so adept at coming up with defensive schematics for the Raptors, but the defense this season has completely gone out the window. But again, this is something that can be rectified because Nick Nurse is undoubtedly a good coach. Everywhere he has ever gone in his career, he has been a winner, and I think he will continue to be a winner in the future with the Raptors. Also, Bobby Webster is locked in, the GM, just as important as Masai Ujiri, maybe a little less, but still great importance to this franchise. He is locked in. The important thing is also going to be to re-sign Masai Ujiri after the trade deadline. Hopefully we can convince him to be a part of this little bit of a soft rebuild project. But again, the people are here with the franchise that can get us out of this mess, and it only gets better from here. I'm still going to continue to watch every Raptors game live on stream. I'm going to continue to make these videos about the Raptors because no matter what happens to this team, I'm going to support them through thick and thin and try to support them to get out of this hole they're currently in. I wouldn't 100% go in tank mode, trying to purposely lose games, but I would trade away my big asset in Kyle Lowry in order to acquire some young pieces, some prospects, maybe some picks to help this team for the future because this year is not it. This is not our year. We just have to accept that. We have to look to develop the pieces that we currently have, and tanking with Anunoby, with Siakam, with Van Vliet, who are trying to improve their game to help this team in the future. Tanking would just stump their development, wouldn't help this team, but a soft rebuild is needed, and trading away Lowry, but still trying to win games with, let's say, Norman Powell still here, and maybe acquiring a big like JaVale McGee or Rashawn Holmes. That sounds like a very good option for this Raptors team. Just see what you can get out of the team when you trade Kyle Lowry and when you get a big. See what you can get out of them. If you make the playoffs, great. If you don't, okay, you get a good pick in a very good draft class. See what you can get. Draft a center. Go in the offseason. Try to pick up some good depth pieces to support Van Vliet, Anunoby, Siakam, Norman Powell. Hopefully, that is my dream scenario for this Raptors team, but time will tell what the plans are for Masai Ujiri. Time will tell what Bobby Webster's plans are for this franchise, how they're going to get us out of this mess because they have brought us up from the ruins. Masai Ujiri brought us up from the ruins before, and unfortunately, because of the very poor offseason that the front office had leading into this season, they are probably going to have to do it again. But we have a bit of a head start having already locked in a good young core of players to build around. So, yes, this is rock bottom. I don't think we should tank, though. I don't think we should just absolutely obliterate the team and just try to actively lose games to get a better draft pick. I don't think that is helpful. Just tanking is not like a one-step, two-step plan. It's not as easy as just being bad, getting a pick, and being good again. That's not how it works. You need to continue to work with and develop the current crop of players that you have. That is how this Raptors team is going to be successful. They are known for just developing pieces into the best version of themselves, and that's what they need to continue to do to find greener pastures on the horizon. What do you guys make of this 9-game losing streak of this season? What do you think we should do as we approach the NBA trade deadline? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. But that wraps it up for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, please like the video. If you like and subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content just like this. Hopefully in the future, we're talking about more positive things with the Raptors. But in the meantime, make sure you follow Amateur Hour Sports on Twitch, twitch.tv/amateurhoursports. We're switching our live streams to Twitch on April 6th. Also, shop the merch. We just released merch, the first ever line of merch for Amateur Hour Sports. The links are in the description. Go check those things out. Support the stream, support what I do, enable me to make more and better content for the viewers. At the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.